Most of the stuff in this room has not been for sale in years and hardly ever comes up online. And a lot of this stuff was never meant to be seen outside of Cartoon Network studios. After years of hunting through thrift stores, flea markets, storage lockers, garage sales, what you're seeing, this room is the result of all of that. So this is it, the complete Cartoon Network room tour. I have a video just like this planned for the Cartoon Cavern as well, but we're going to be going through every single piece, every shelf, every rare item, and maybe checking out some stuff you didn't even know exist. We have 3 main goals in this video. 1, to cover all 5 sections that I've separated out in the entire room. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4, and finally Section 5. 2, to show you the rarest item in the entire room. And 3, to get a 10 out of 10 from the person that's in this room the most besides me, Karina. All right, so we're about to redo the Cartoon Network room. What would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like 7.
All right. Yeah, that's all she said. There was no more to that ranking, just a 7. Anything else?
Trash, Coke Zero, cards. It smells a little bit weird.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Ryan, just cut all that. Okay, so I wanted to start here. This is section 1, what kind of began everything. I would not have this room if it was not for this section here. So let's go through it. There's a little bit outside too, but let's start at the top here. So out the gate, we have one of my favorite cartoon duos of all time. We have Brian and Stewie Griffin. I got those from 2 members of the Rep Pack who actually sent those in the mail. Down below that, we have the Futurama complete series. This was a flea market find, and that is one thing you will notice about this entire room is more than half of the stuff in here I have found in the wild, whether it be out at thrift store, flea market, stuff like that. Being that Nickelodeon is like one of the main things that I hunt, the Cartoon Network stuff, I've kind of limited my budget to like what I can find. We have the Kim Possible, and this is not Cartoon Network. I know you will see some Disney, Universal, Warner Brother, it's kind of an expanded room, but the majority is Cartoon Networks. That's why I call it the Cartoon Network room. We have the Ben 10 here. This is from the reboot, but this is from a figure line that came out in Brazil, I think exclusively. Down below that, we have some of the Cartoon Network classics. You can see it's the Hanna-Barbera vehicle here. This is where Cartoon Network essentially began, was showing reruns of old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So I love having this here, just a reminder of that history. You do have Dexter on there too. Below that, we have Ron Stoppable, and it came with the actual communicator, which I think is so dope. The sound effect for that is absolutely iconic. Yeah, Ron's been on that FaceTime call for like 20 years. Kim and him just been looking back at each other. We also have Rufus down here, which it doesn't really make sense because you also have Rufus in his pocket here, but I found this little separate Rufus another day, so I decided to add him here as well. He's not the only Rufus you'll see in the room as well too. Behind that, we have some Cartoon Network booster boxes, all of which are sealed. Behind this is the Powerpuff Girls one. I can move this real quick. The Powerpuff Girls booster box, the Samurai Jack one, and then the Dexter one. This is one of those situations where when I bought these, I was buying them for like $40 to $50 online. I was opening them, but now some of these booster boxes go from like $200 to $300, which is absolutely insane. But just know that most of the stuff in the room, I did not pay what they go for now. This right here is the Fred Flintstone Piggy Bank. This is another item I got from a viewer in our Mail Time series. I love this so much. Right now, he's a little broke, but that's because I went to the bank and I took like all my change from like my car, from him, a bunch of other piggy banks I had around the room, so we got to fill him back up. And then these right here, I would say is probably the oldest item like in the entire room, which is crazy to me. This and like one other thing. These are 3 different Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends art design figures done by, I believe, Dan Bob Thomason, Jay Rogers, Owen the Owen. I'm reading them. I don't remember all these names. Let's be real. Owen the Owen. That's the last artist. So 3 different artists designed all of these. And it actually says in the bottom here, but you know, easier to pop up a list. These I believe were at Comic-Con like 2007. I am a huge Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends fan, so that's kind of what got me interested in picking those up. And all of the first items in this room are actually Blue related items. That was like my first Cartoon Network collection, was collecting exclusively Blue here from Foster's Home. And then it developed into what it is now. So we've checked out a lot of this stuff, but but nothing here is nearly as rare as some of the stuff we're going to be looking at in a moment. This right here is a Meowth. You can see a little set of cartridges here. You know, it's gotten a lot smaller, but I've done this since I was a little kid, always having like my PS2 games, all the ones that I was like playing, but I didn't want to put back in the box, like stacked up. We know we all had something like that in our house. These are all games like I'm actively playing, but I don't want to put them in their box. I kind of keep them right here, this little stack. A lot safer than the disc back in the day. We have Meowth there though. And we also have this. This is actually a animator maquette prototype. So this is a bubble statue here that was made based off of the animator's maquette, something that the artist would use as reference when drawing the characters. But this was 1 out of 50, a prototype that was only gifted to certain people that were like a part of the friend group of the original artist. So I've only seen the Blossom one and the Buttercup one come up here and there, but this is the Bubbles one for it. Really proud of that one. Super cute too. Then below this, we have my two favorite boys in all of Cartoon Network. We have Rigby and Blue, and we also have Perry the Platypus. That way, nobody could comment, where's Perry? But we have Rigby here in his wrestling costume. I love this plush so much. That reminds me of the first ever episode of Regular Show, where he has that plush and he asks if he wants him to put the herd on him.
I'll kill you!
And then one of my dream items here, this was, I almost fell forward and hit my face against the wall. And that would, the video would have ended a lot earlier. But now that I've balanced, this is one of my dream items here. I only recently got this from a collection buyout that I did. This is the Troublemaking Blue remote control figure. I don't even know who thought when looking at Blue that he needed to be an RC. Like, they could have made the Foster bust. They could have done a lot of things, but the fact that they made him a RC is crazy to me. Down below this, we have a Powerpuff Girls tin that I found out in the wild at the flea market. We have the Cartoon Network collection here. Honestly, this one's just here because I just recently ran out of room here in like my GBA game section. This is another early thing to the collection. Right around when I got those guys, I started collecting all of these GBA games, not just for Cartoon Network, but for Disney, Nickelodeon. I've always been really into Pokemon, and that's a huge part of this room as well too. And Pokemon games back in like 2017, 2018 were going for hundreds of dollars already. But I noticed a lot of the shovelware or like licensed games like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon games were going for like $10, $20. Like nobody wanted these in their collection, and they were sealed. The packaging is still the same cardboard that's so vulnerable, but nobody really cared about them. So I was picking them up for like $10, $20. But again, these have all surged in price quite drastically since then. So thankfully I stocked up on a lot of them. I haven't added a ton of new ones here, except for this one where freaking Tom and Jerry go to hell for some reason. Tom is there as a victim and Jerry is there as like an assistant to Satan. Pretty crazy game. There's a whole level in hell, so I had to add that one to the collection. Down here is like all Wii games, little PS4. All of them are Cartoon Network related for the most part, or Disney or something animated themed. We have a couple Switch games over here too. This right here is a bag for Hi Hi Puffy Yumi. This was a promotional item that they gave out. It came with that bag. It came with a couple of these pins with Hi Hi Puffy Yumi on them, and also the drumsticks. And if you don't know what Hi Hi Puffy Yumi is, we'll pop up some of the visuals on screen here for you, but most notably they are famous for making the Teen Titans theme song. And then next up, a huge part of the room is Pokemon, and I'm not going to dive into that too much just because this is a Cartoon Network video. But at one point, yes, Pokemon was on Cartoon Network. You know, you see it on screen here, but it's not really like what you think of as a Cartoon Network property. But Pokemon is like one of my other huge obsessions, and since I already have 2 out of the 3 rooms in my house and my garage already completely filled with collections, there's no space for a complete room of just Pokemon, so I kind of had to merge the two. Down here we have a bunch of little game cases for different Pokemon, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Those are all ones I found just at thrift stores and stuff like that. And then finishing up section 1 here outside, we have the Adorable shelf. That's more part of the Disney stuff. We have my Garfield statue location map from when I went to Indiana and saw all the Garfields. We got number 4 there. And then this is a ongoing trauma here on the show, which is me trying to complete this entire Johnny Test set of 80 different figures. I've got a whole row there. You can see I don't have. I've probably opened up over 1,000 of these figures and have still not completed the collection, but I definitely think I have the closest collection in the entire world. All right, and on that note, bye, day, I'll go. We're going back inside. Okay, so section 2 is my Scooby shrine. So Scooby-Doo is my favorite Cartoon Network show by far. I love all of Cartoon Network, but Scooby will always own my Cartoon Network heart. You can see I have my Mystery Machine collection here, as well as my continuing to grow. I am trying to collect every single Scooby-Doo movie on physical media. I have about 85% of them, minus a couple movies that are just really, really tough to find. But it is still growing, and there's some other like compilation disc and stuff you might see in there, but a majority of this is all Scooby-Doo films. Growing up, Scooby-Doo was just one of my comfort cartoons. Like, I would not have this channel if it wasn't for shows like Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob, of course. Growing up, you know, living in my house, like, I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of stress. I was just like a kid that was always worried about like every little thing so much. Like, I would get stomach aches and like sick over the smallest things, and Scooby-Doo was one of those shows that would always comfort me. So having him like right over my workstation, whereas where I like usually am doing a lot of work, is a comforting feeling, you know, just kind of like him over here over my shoulder kind of watching out for me. Got Scooby, this TV here. When this room is not a mess, I try to watch Scooby-Doo in here. I do watch a lot in the living room or like other rooms in my house TV, but this TV is solely for the Scooby-Doo and Cartoon Network media. There's a bunch of items on here. It would literally take forever to break down all of them, but one thing I am really proud about this section is in a whole is every single, I can't even name one item on here that I picked up on eBay or any third-party website. Every single thing that you see here I found out at a thrift store, a flea market, an antique show, something like that. Whether this item was here at Spirit Halloween, like none of this did I order online, including my entire Scooby-Doo movie collection. Every single one of these, if it was not gifted to me, was found at a thrift store or the flea market, and I don't know, I'm really, really proud of that. It's taken so much work. There's a couple Blu-rays over here that Karina got me actually for like my birthday, but outside of those are pretty much all wild finds. I'm obsessed with the Mystery Machine. As you can see here, that is the thing I have the most of. To me, it's one of the most iconic vehicles in media history, not just cartoons, and it brings me so much joy just seeing it. So I have the Mystery Machine everywhere over here. We have these awesome figures of the entire crew. I think Shaggy actually might have just fell back there a little bit ago, so Shaggy was here too, behind right in front of Charlie the robot here, but I think he's actually down there now. Down here we have my YouTube play buttons for the multiple different channels that I've run. I actually don't have a Comfort Cartoons one. I just never got one. Like, I think I have to put in a request and stuff, but I just, you know, I don't know. I guess it hasn't been like the hugest priority to me, but I do have to eventually get the Comfort Cartoons one to go over there too. Speaking of my childhood, right here we have, his name is JJ. This is the first collectible I ever owned, and of course it is a Beanie Baby. His name is Tracker, I think his like official name is. So many, you know, so many sad days at school, nightmares, good days, going to theme parks, like all the positives and negatives of my childhood. You know, JJ was a part of it, so I try to keep track of him no matter what. He still has all the original dirt on him. I know he looks a little dirty, but that was dirt that's been on him since I was a child, so I don't know, I could just wash him, but you know, every one of those little stains is kind of like a memory and has history to it. So JJ has always been rocking out in my collections no matter what happens. After this section, we'll be getting into probably the two rarest sections of the entire room, but in this section, one of the rarest items is this here, and that is the Cartoon Network Hotel outdoor map, as well as the Cartoon Network Hotel indoor map. I was fortunate enough that I got to go to the Cartoon Network Hotel when it was still around. Now it is a defunct location, but if you want to check out that video, it is on the channel. It was a true dream come true. I had so much fun there. It was such a insane experience. It was very empty. It almost had liminal space vibes in some portions of it, especially the outdoor area when there's nobody out there. It's this huge, massive hotel, all these rooms, and very little. I think you can watch that video and there's portions where literally we are the only people out in this entire massive outdoor playground. It was a wild experience, but I do see why that they closed it. But after a while, they stopped even giving out these maps, and a majority of people didn't really think to keep on to them. And Cartoon Network, they completely destroyed all of the props and pieces of the Cartoon Network Hotel, sadly. So the only stuff that's left is stuff that people kept. So I kept those maps and framed them up as soon as I got back home that day because I just wanted to remember it. But it turned out that, you know, that these were going to be a little bit tougher to find nowadays. Okay, now here's a little forgotten section of the room. This is my Funko Pops. Yeah, they're kind of hidden and like lurking down here. I have a majority of the Cartoon Network Funko Pops, but I don't know, like starting my collection, it was heavy like Funko Pop. If you you look back at the beginning of my collection, probably like 50% of it was Funko Pops. But after doing collecting for over 10 years now, having this channel, I've seen so many people's collections. We have a collection review series on my show. I get to meet other people who show me their collections all the time. And I've just seen so many Funko Pops being used as like insulation on people's walls. And they're just so, such a big part of every single collection that I see, that me being the contrarian that I am, I kind of wanted to do something different. So I was like, okay, I kind of stripped a lot of my collections, including my Nickelodeon collection, of a lot of Funko Pops. But at the same time, I still love them. I still think they look so cool. I still think so many of them are awesome. So I keep them. I didn't get rid of all of them. Like, look at how freaking awesome this Aku and Jack is. The freaking glow-in-the-dark Captain Cutler. There's some amazing pieces, but it's just like they make so many that I would not have had space for any of the other awesome items that we have in the collection now. So I kind of just put them in this little pocket over here. This right here is my computer. You guys can see a bunch of different stuff up right now, but that's the regular show park in the background there. I've had that as my background forever. Always brings me so much comfort. If you listen really closely, this Powerpuff Girls clock has like a metronome sound. Everybody I know says that sound drives them crazy. I don't know if it's just like, for me, like sitting in like the classroom as a kid and like the silence and hearing that sound is like so nostalgic for me. So I actually like that sound of like the clock ticking. But section 3, let's do it. Okay, so this is the section though, like, okay, so I said Scooby-Doo is my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time. And he is, because it's like technically Hanna-Barbera with Cartoon Network. But if I were to pick one show that's like my sole favorite Cartoon Network, you know, only on Cartoon Network show, it would be a regular show. If there was a disaster, a zombie apocalypse, and I could only grab one section of my collection, it would be this and my Scooby-Doo DVDs. But the items, I would actually take these. The Scooby-Doo media, I cherish so much, but like the actual physical toys, I would take the regular show stuff, because this stuff has taken me so long to grow. It is a very tiny section of the room, but unlike Scooby-Doo or SpongeBob, it is not something where I acquired them easily. Almost every single one of these pieces took me forever to get and add to the collection. We have the golf cart here, still sealed in the packaging. We have this regular show hat that we got in from the legend Sergio of our fan mail series. We have this regular show radio that I have never even seen another version of in my life. We have this Mordecai backpack. We have the regular show lunchbox. We have some comic books here, some DVDs, a few of the action figures, and then we have the complete regular show Funko Pop line. These are the only Funko Pops that you will see like on display out here. And that is because those Funko Pops are like unbelievably hard to get. I think the Benson goes for like $600 or something like that. And again, reminding you, I did not pay nearly that. Like when I got those Funko Pops, I think I got all of them for about $200, like the whole set of 5. This is like 2017, 2016. So that's one of those items I would never get rid of, because I know I would probably never get it again. So I'm really proud of them though. We have those guys. Below that, we have the Teen Titans figures here. You guys may know I did have at one point the entire line, but in order to pick up a lot of the items you see in this room, I did have to sell some of the collection that I purchased off, and I kept my favorite stuff. So my favorite character growing up was always Robin. Awesome leader of the team, but not just that, you know, a complicated character as well too, with struggling with different emotions from his past, dealing with leadership, but also trying to be a teenager. I just thought he was such a inspiring and cool character. I mean, just look how freaking cool he looks too, you know? So I always looked up to Robin as a kid. So I have the Red X Robin here, the regular Robin here, and then I have, of course, his ultimate enemy, but also his driving force, much like Batman and the Joker, we have Slade. So these 3 are my favorites. Those are the ones I decided to keep. And I think the most valuable one of this set for sure is the Slade one. But the one that I enjoy the most is definitely the Red X one. I always thought that was so freaking sick. Like the fact they created this character within the show that went on to be an actual comic book character and have his own comic book run as well. Then below this, we have the Mucha Lucha wrestling ring here. It's a way of life. Mucha Lucha, Mucha Lucha. This is signed by the voice actress of the head mistress as well as the voice actor for Ricochet. Many of these items I picked up from a member of the community named Proxy, who I purchased this collection off of. You see a bunch of these little minifigures for different Cartoon Network shows. Again, all of these were found in the wild. You know, I've just spotted them being the Cartoon Network nerd that I am. We have these regular show keychains. These are also super old in the collection. I think I got these on Amazon like in 2019, maybe 2018. We have these Cartoon Network bag clips here. This is actually a display board that would have displayed all of these. We could have got them out of like little coin capsule machines. Next up, you have another piece of my heart, the Baby Looney Tunes. I love the Baby Looney Tunes so much. They are my preferred version of the Looney Tunes. I grew up watching that show, and fun fact, when I was born, the item that I like, the first thing that gave me warmth and comfort, literally, when I was brought home from the hospital, it was in a Baby Looney Tunes blanket. So that is like, you know, as early in my life as it could possibly go. So the Baby Looney Tunes has always just been a part of me and my life. So I have to have all four of these guys here just hanging out. We have the South Park crew. And then we also have all of these figures here. These are actually recent, an amazing collection. You could really see stylistically how vibrant they are, that they are modern. But these came out as part of that Ben 10 set as well too. A meal toy that came out in Burger King that was only in Brazil. Don't ask me why. Brazil and Japan and Korea get everything cool, and here in the US we're stuck with just like hot garbage. You know, even the food's not real. Like, we already don't get real food. They get like a better product in every other country, and then we don't even get good toys on top of it. It's rough. So rarest section, my goodness, has got to be this little section here. This is not the rarest item in the collection, like I said. We haven't got to that yet, but this is one of the rarest sections for sure. So this is the figure set. You'll get close-up shots of all of these. This is the Cartoon Network employee store exclusive items. You could order them on the website back in the day, but for the most part they were limited to Cartoon Network employees that actually had a physical store at the studio. This is one for my gym partner's a monkey, and are the only figures that of these characters I've ever really gotten, outside of a couple small ones that again were also in-house. I think Bull and Jake might actually have like some McDonald's toys, but for the most part high quality figures. This is it. These are actually prototype pins that were never released to the public. This is one for Camp Lazlo here. These were sent to Cartoon Network's brand management division, essentially for them to review the product before they released it, to kind of make sure that it kind of, you know, meets all the standards of what they expect for the utilization of the shows, but they never actually got made. So this is a prototype pin of Camp Lazlo, a prototype pin of Scooby-Doo, and then I think I just have, one more of the Camp Lazlo one because I was able to get two of them, so I got the two. I might actually, I don't know, we'll do something with this one. Maybe we'll give it away or something, I don't know, on our Whatnot stream. But we have that there. We have one of the only items in the collection that actually features flapjacks. That's one of the reasons I love this so much. But this is a Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion lunchbox. We have a very lesser known show, a figure for Robot Boy. This was also exclusive to the Cartoon Network employee shop. We have the Robin Piggy Bank, and the first item to ever be added to the Cartoon Network room is this right here. Actually, it's this one. This was the first item I ever picked up. I bought this on Amazon. Somehow they had it on Amazon, limited to 240 pieces, but it was on Amazon when I bought it for $40 back in 2016, maybe even earlier than that, maybe 2014. But this was what kind of started my collection here. This was the first item. I loved Blue from Foster's Home so much that I needed to have this on my shelf even back then, and he's kind of what started everything. All right, then right below here we have the way less cool, you know, they kind of slaughtered my boy here, but the Teen Titans Go Red X, but he's still 6. I added him in here. This is the employee box for Camp Lazlo, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Chowder, and to complete the entire set, this is actually the one for the class of 3000. So I actually have all of the complete figure collection from the Cartoon Network employee shop. So this is probably one of like my holy grails, is this set. And fun fact, I actually got this one for $20. These have sold in some cases from anywhere from $300 to $900. It's kind of all over the place, but I paid $20 for this guy at the flea market. Have a couple little figures here in front too, this little tiny little like Flintstones instrument. We also have the Chowder cookie jar. This is also exclusive to the employee shop. Down here we have my Rainbow Monkeys. These are unlicensed because unfortunately they never really released like plushies of the Rainbow Monkeys that are licensed. This is Rancho and this is Cucamonga. We have the Powerpuff Girls Monopoly, the South Park VHS set, my little hippie Bugs Bunny, and then we also have the Samurai Jack comic book and this clown Jerry, because we all know Jerry is nothing but a clown. But you'll notice there's a lot of empty spaces in a lot of these sections, and that's because when I redesigned the room, if you will, I kind of wanted to leave it with room to grow. So as we go over here, you'll start seeing a couple sections that are a little bit empty, or they have some stuff that I wouldn't mind changing out. And that's, like I said, because when I did it, I wanted to have room for this to develop as we continue to go on hunts. If you guys are new to this channel, this is what we do. We go out hunting for all the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, nostalgic stuff that we grew up with, and we add it to the collection. I sell some of them in my Whatnot streams or my eBay shop to kind of fund everything we do. And I wanted to have a little bit of room to grow in this room. So that's, if you see any empty spaces, that's why. And I almost forgot to cover this section here, but yeah, you guys can see we have a couple different items here. We have Ricochet, Foster's Home basketball hoop, and then the very necessary, I know it's kind of ugly in this pot, but the very necessary in this room, being in Southern California, air conditioner. Finishing up with section 3 here, we have these awesome posters. I love these so much. I look at them. Ever since I put them up, I just can't stop looking at them. These are 2 posters that were promotional posters that were hung up in some of the offices of the employees at Cartoon Network Studios. This is the special episode for My Gym Partner's a Monkey, a big field trip poster. And then this is the Where's Laszlo one, which I love Camp Laszlo. That is another one of my favorite shows. Huge comfort cartoon show for me. I'll never forget the summer of 2005. That is probably my biggest peak year of Cartoon Network fandom. When this poster came out as well too, they had a marathon of Camp Laszlo during that summer that was just kind of running all throughout it. And I remember watching probably every episode of Camp Laszlo like 3-4 times over and could not get enough of it. It literally carried that summer. I remember that summer also was extremely hot, so like we were not able to be outside as much. You know, it was one of those summers where like, you're hanging out in the sun for a little bit, but then most of the time you're just in the shade. And I remember me and my friends at the time watching Camp Laszlo like crazy, playing video games, but Camp Laszlo was such a huge part of it. And then below this, we have a regular show canvas artwork. Now we are into section number 4. Probably the biggest section because it's going to go all the way to this side, but we'll go ahead and run through this. The left side over here, we have the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Picture this right here was in Subways. They had a toy that was released at Subway, like a toy line. This would have been displayed at the actual Subway restaurant. This one, I'm actually not 100% sure where this would have been located, but I got this in a grouping of a bunch of other Cartoon Network 2005 summer posters. I think it actually says here, yeah, cartoon, yes. So I don't know where that one's actually displayed, but it happens to be the same size as that one, so I thought it looked good back there. We have my Scooby-Doo Playmobil mansion here, as well as the Playmobil mystery machine. I did a video where I picked up this Scooby-Doo. He is a he is a Halloween door greeter, and typically he should be holding a bunch of candy, but I have him holding all of my Playmobil figures. We have the Foster's Home bus back here, a couple other plushies you might recognize, all of which were found at the flea market or thrift stores, as I said. And right here is my Cartoon Network media collection. Not all of it is Cartoon Network. It's just a mixture of nostalgic movies and shows that I like. Then we've got the Scooby-Doo Handmade by Robots figures. A couple of boxes down here for some of the products you might see throughout the room. More DVDs. We got the Scooby-Doo blow mold for Christmas. A plank that I actually got made on Etsy. Obviously, he's not a real product, but that's a pretty one-to-one replica of planks. I love that so much. We also have this Chowder little hat here. He's on this gumball machine. I did at one point, and I still do, had an idea of getting this gumball machine turned into like a real-life Benson to add to my collection, but I haven't found the right person to actually like commission to do it. The person that I was working with on it was like saying that it was just too hard because of like the spherical shape of it. Honestly, I've gotten pretty decent at drawing myself. That I think that I might even be able to do it myself one of these days, so we'll see what happens with that. But right now I just have the Chowder hat on the gumball machine. Moving over here, we have one of my, I don't know, this might be one of the rarest. I still haven't showed you the rarest item yet, but this might be the rarest item in this section besides the final item, and that is the Colossal Liner. This is the grail of grails when it comes to Codename Kids Next Door products. This is the big ship, comes with a figure of every character, including number 3, who has one of the only rainbow monkeys, and it's also the only figure that comes with the big bad himself, Father. Right above that, we have this blue soccer ball. I've never seen another one of these ever for sale. It is a official Foster's Home soccer ball. It's super weird but cool item. We have Mordecai and Rigby, another of the items that I added to the collection really early on. We have a copy of Dig Champs from regular show, and inside of there is actually a cassette tape for the summer summertime song.
Summertime, loving in the summertime.
Right here we have Rigby from the Toys R Us exclusive line of regular show. And you'll notice a space right above him, and that is because I would like to add Mordecai there this year. That might be one of those items where I have to go online for it, but that space is for Mordecai. And realistically, I would like to change out this Dig Champs for this Benson figure. That Benson is like $400 though, so I don't know when I'll add it there, but I would love to add that Benson there too and move around Dig Champs. We have the Ben 10 card game booster box. This is a box of these figures called Stresso Necks. We'll pop up the short that I filmed on them actually on screen here for you. The figures are made out of like a squishy like stress ball material, so I don't really want to have them on display because that type of material just doesn't really hold up that well once you get like a lot of dust on it. These were also exclusive through the employee shop. All of these like fidget toy figures of so many iconic characters. You even have one for like Out of Jimmy's Head, Rodney from Squirrel Boy, Secret Saturdays, a lot of shows that literally you won't find any other merch for, so it's cool to have these. Then down here, these are my figures. So these are all ones that I found likely at the bottom of bins in the flea market, like toy bins. So these are all the Titan figures here. I have a bunch of these. Some of them are not even here, but this is a majority of them. These are all the Foster's Home meal toys from McDonald's, Subway, Burger King. You know, those are just some examples. I don't even know if that's where some of those are from, but just different ones that I found throughout the time. The full set of the Courage the Cowardly Dog ones from Subway. I got a couple Dexter ones there. Just anytime I find one, I'm adding them on these shelves. That's why they have a little bit of space left on all of them. This right here, these chapsticks are kind of taking up this whole section here because I don't have enough figures to go in this section, but we have some more Cartoon Network ones here. Again, we want to have more room to grow. We have also Static Shock here, which is one of the only figures for that series of Static Shock, but I will be on the lookout for more and more Cartoon Network figures to add to this. Below here we have some of our Looney Tunes here. We have little Duck Dodgers, we have more of the baby Looney Tunes, a few of the like Warner Brothers 100 figures. Again, a lot of space left here. Over here is more of like the Warner Brothers Animaniacs section with Tiny Toons as well too. We got a little Pinky and the Brain in there, a little Looney Tunes. These kind of are like, you know, interchangeable. And this right here is my only like shelf that I think I've never changed in the collection like throughout anything. Is like I've only added to it. This is like my little Fox animation line, like little cubby here, except for Rick and Morty that's on Adult Swim, and also I guess South Park. But you know, all of the adult animated shows that I watched growing up, you know, and then some of the ones that are newer that I like as well, like Bob's Burgers and also Rick and Morty. So they kind of all take up this little section here. I don't find that stuff every day, so I don't really end up adding a ton to this collection. Then below here, this is like, these are just kind of miscellaneous figures from Adventure Time, Ben 10, but I would like for this to be my Ben 10 shelf where I just put all the different aliens that I find on here, and I'm gonna start looking for them now. For a long time I was just selling my Whatnot stream and I didn't really have any goal to collect them, but now I really would like to see this kind of set up with a few of the Ben 10 aliens. Over here is kind of like Powerpuff Girls, a little bit of some like mini figures for Teen Titans too, including Raven. This is the bane of my existence. This is my Jerry collection. People in my fan mail series love to send me Jerry, even though I don't like this character very much. So this is filled with Jerry, mini Jerrys, big Jerrys, small Jerrys, Jerry squished in between the the shelves. He's starting to grow on me. And I also have this comedically sized cleaver over here. Those of you guys who don't know, I also collect weapons too. So this comedically sized cleaver I think just fits in perfectly with the Jerry collection. So I just kind of have that sitting there. Why not? Down here you'll see some other figures, plush. But those are all Scooby-Doo books that I've collected over the time. Over here, some comic books. We have some like, you know, special edition Cartoon Network books here. This book that was written by Will Hanna. Again, all of this was found out in the wild. Ed and Eddie book. This one I think here is just like on the history of animation as a whole. An amazing book and so many amazing illustrations throughout it. So you can see like from the classics all the way up until like the Hanna-Barbera era is covered in that book. Over here are my Scooby-Doo Mighty Mites. I never completed the set, but I still have hope and dreams, so that's why I keep them out here. We also have the Scooby-Doo VHS. In here is like my loose GBA cartridges for some of my favorite like Cartoon Network themed games. And then we got Jerry here blocking off all the wires and stuff that power this place. Okay, so we can almost cross off covering all 5 sections here, but we can cross off showing you guys the rarest item in the collection outside of like the Pokemon stuff. So I guess in that section there'll be a lot of really rare items, but of the Cartoon Network stuff. So up here we have some board games. games for Scooby-Doo. We also have the Kellogg spin tops here. I've had these up here for a while. I just think they look really cool, almost like little billboards in the room to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in here. You have the mystery machine, and then you have Ron as well. And if you can spot him, you can also see Rufus is here in his pocket too. But this is a Ron that has like these magnetic clasp on his hands, so he can like climb up walls. Thought he looked pretty cool hanging out up there. Then we have a few other figures here, and I would say probably from like just actual numbers that exist, this might be the rarest item in the room. There are items in here that I would say are maybe rarer, but like from a technical, like looking at it, information we know of, this might be it. This is the Mucha Lucha 2-pack with the Flea and also Megawatt the Masher. The Flea is always my favorite character from Mucha Lucha. Growing up in Southern California, it's like a heavily Hispanic area. A lot of my friends, was a huge part of their childhood, and you know, hanging out with them, a lot of them got me into Mucha Lucha, so I ended up growing up watching the show a lot too, and you know, wanting to relate to them, so I would watch the show a lot, and we would talk about it at school, and the Flea was always my favorite. So this one was exclusive to the Toy Fair in 2004, and was limited to 1 out of 100 pieces, so only 100 pieces were made. This was when the show was going on, so the amount of them that were opened, because who could have guessed it was going to be such a collectible and like fan-loved series, the amount of them is open, I would say is probably, you could expect at least 50% of them might have been opened. So who's to say how many of these even exist? You cannot find one available online for sale. It almost never comes up. And I have the regular version here just to kind of like be the counterpart to it, so you can see what the regular one looks like. And I believe this is based off of an episode where the Flea actually takes a bath for like the first time in forever, so that's why he's like white. But very, very cool figure here. And then that brings on over to this. I did have many of the Codename Kids Next Door figure sets like this, but again, in order to afford keeping some of them, I had to sell off some of the other ones, but I had to keep this one because it's got Kree in it, which is one of my favorite characters, villains from the Codename Kids Next Door series. And then one of the only villains that actually got a full-size premium figure here is the Common Cold, and I think he looks so awesome. Such a cool figure. I think all of the villains for Codename Kids Next Door are absolutely badass, so had to get him. You can see Jake hanging out here too. This is a pretty rare plushie of Jake. Then below that we have the 5-pack series. Again, I had these big figure versions of all of the Codename Kids Next Door, but again, how much I paid for the collection, I needed to sell off some of it, so I decided to keep this here as just like a representative, a good figure and profile of all 5 of the kids from K&D. Below this we have some of the animation collector pack figures. Most of these are pretty like characters you can find better products for, but for King of the Hill, there is really not a lot of merch, and what exists is extremely expensive. So I love King of the Hill, one of my other favorite comfort cartoons, so I'm super happy honestly to have this Hank and also Dale Gribble. We got some Bender, the Hypno Toad, we got Daria here, Hi Puffy Amiyumi, this creepy like Freddy Fazbear style animatronic. Yeah, it's horrifying. These mini Pokemon figures. We have Sonic dressed up as some of the DC characters. Little Yu-Gi-Oh box here. Blaziken. A Tim from Yu-Gi-Oh, which was also on Cartoon Network. Sorry, Umi was over there talking, but also was on Cartoon Network Yu-Gi-Oh! So I always have, I don't have a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, but it was a huge part of my childhood. So I have this booster box and this statue kind of to like summarize that part of my life. And then this back here is really cool. This is a pennant from the King's Dominion back when they used to have a Scooby-Doo and also Flintstones section. You can see the Flintstones on there, Scooby, Yogi Bear too. Really old school pennant. I found this at the flea market. Thought it kind of filled in perfectly here to like block out this little blank space in the wall. I am what they call a Maximus. That's what I don't know if there's a national term, but that's what I call it. Essentially meaning like most people that are minimalist want to have as much wall as possible, as much clear shelf space as possible, and that makes them feel comfortable. For me, the more space that is taken up on the walls and the less space there is on the shelves actually makes me feel way more comfortable. It makes me feel so much more like, it makes me feel so less stressed. It is like, you know, it gets rid of the liminality of the room. It kind of makes it like a lived in vibrant space. So I personally love this. I do love having like my clear floor space, of course, but I do love like having all these things that I look around at any corner and I see something that I love. It just puts a smile on my face and I wouldn't want any other way. And then finishing up section 4 here, there's really not anything. These are all like Pokemon binders of different cards and stuff like that that I collect. Not all of it is Pokemon. Some of it's Cartoon Network, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just different cards that I collect all in these binders here. We checked off the rarest item in the collection, so now we'll be able to checking out all 5 sections of the collection here in a moment, and then we'll have to have Karina come in here and give us a final review, and hopefully we get better than a 7 this time now that it's been cleaned up and she could see it in its new form. So this is the Pokemon section. I'm not going to spend a ton of time over here because, to be honest, most of the stuff that you are seeing on this side of the room, this will not be here soon. I'm going to be moving a large majority of this collection, and the whole room will soon be Cartoon Network. And the only reason why is just because a lot of the stuff in the Pokemon section has gone up in value so much that I just don't really feel comfortable keeping it on display. It's sad, but that's just the reality of it now. You guys can see I have all the original games there. I have every single Pokemon game that's ever come out, as well as many of the consoles as well. We have this new statue that I got here too. But yeah, so many things have just kind of, so many things have just kind of like blown up in value that I am going to be removing this. So by the time you see this video, all of this stuff will have been moved. Not that I'm like really worried about theft, but I think it's just better and safer just to have this stuff out of here. If you watch the show and you know me well enough, you know that I'm probably the worst person you could probably pick to target. We are armed far greater than the majority of California homes. So yeah, I'm not too stressed about that, but I do think it's better for this stuff to be kind of moved. So we have all the plushies down here. We won't spend a ton of time on these guys either. We also have a couple other figures here, as well as this really cool display. And then something you guys have been seeing me do on the channel here for a while is this right here. All of these Pokemon Target exclusive super articulated figures from Jazzwares. I have been obsessed with these for the last few years and have collected just about every single one. I think I might be missing like 3 or 4. So once I get those, I'll probably be moving this guy, Casper, up there, and that'll just keep going up. And once we get up there, I don't know, I hope that they just are, you know, they're done. I don't know. Honestly, I'll have to move stuff around because I'm obsessed with these. I think these are so sick. Like, they're just such good profiles of the different Pokemon. So really happy to have those in the collection. And then yeah, this is a Casper display here from the original Casper movie. So I put that up there. This is kind of a placeholder again for this little space here that I'm like waiting for these to kind of stack up to. Again, leaving some room to grow. But on that note, that actually covers everything. So that is all 5 sections of the Cartoon Network collection. There is this center table you'll see here as well too. This is where like I organize my cards and stuff. You guys will see I have like little Powerpuff Girls drawers there, some cards I need to get graded. So yeah, all my card related stuff kind of goes in this table. I pull my chair up over here and start working on my cards. And I have this really cool like magnified like light so I can see the cards better. They look beautiful through this thing. You can see it's got like a super magnification on it, really dusty too, but yeah, super magnification with a ring light in it. It looks fantastic when you're looking at cards. But that is actually it. So that's the full room right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tour so far. We tried to make it as detailed as possible. I have a lot of different close-up shots on stuff that I talked about for a bit, but now I'm a little nervous because we have one more thing left to do, and that is to get Karina's review. So later on tonight when she's here, we're gonna give her our last little marker so we could check off that we have also shown all 5 sections. We checked out the rarest item in the room, we checked off checking out all 5 sections, and now getting a higher ranking from Karina on the review, because she's been here a while and this room used to be really messy because filming everything and this being like the only extra space in my house, a lot of times the extra stuff would end up in this room, and I want to try to make that not the case going into this year. So let's see what she says. I think I can see you through the crack. You can come in. All right, welcome to the new and improved Cartoon Network room. Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's only one Coke Zero in here. It's what I was drinking currently. No more trash on the floor. Okay, so let's give you the little review. So this is the newly improved Pokemon section. Remember there was like statues and stuff just like piled up there. There was cards everywhere. Now it's all clean. I even dusted it. Smell that.
Nice.
So this is the new Pokemon section. Then over here, this is all my figures and stuff. Looks pretty cool.
Wow.
Do you notice anything new on the wall? Yeah, Blue is up there now. He's brand new. I actually put a lot of stuff on the wall too. I put this stuff over here too. And this whole shelf is completely different than it was before. And look at the little risers.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking for those ooh, aha moments. Okay, that's a little bit of residue from the glue. Okay, you know, from the freaking sign. Just ignore that. Look at the DVDs.
Nice.
Don't worry about that. And then these are like the big, more like high-end stuff. The lighting's a little weird in here right now because I took the studio light out. But what would you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10 now that you have seen the new and improved room?
10.
10?
I get taller.
You did get a lot taller. That's what happens when you see the new Cartoon Network room. You will go taller. You get smarter, wiser, stronger, taller. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed this and you want to see another room tour, I'm going to be doing my Nickelodeon room tour very soon here. I'm going to be working on that one the same way I worked on this one over the next month, and we are going to be doing a full tour of my entire cartoon cavern as it sits today. So make sure you subscribe so you do not miss that. And if you want to see where we have picked up so many of these items, and also we'll pick up future items, make sure you subscribe because we go out hunting at flea markets, thrift stores, garage sales, all different types of places for the stuff that we covered in this video. It's my passion. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's the thing that's held me down my entire life. Pokemon, cartoons. If you love that stuff, you're going to want to be a part of this community and see what else we have coming out. If you want to support the show further, you can check out our Patreon link down below. You can also go visit my Whatnot stream where I auction off stuff like this every single show. And I also have an eBay shop too. If you love nostalgia, you definitely want to take a look at both those places. And on our Whatnot show, we do some amazing deals and you get $15 for free just for signing up. So that link's down below. But before we go anywhere, you know the drill. Scan it! Alright, on that note, if you guys enjoyed it, again, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, Patreon, Whatnot, all that information is down below. I'll see you guys in this video over here, which is the last Cartoon Network video, so go check that out. I'll put you on a Cartoon Network playlist. I'll see you guys over there, and as always, Rat Pack, I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Adios, and bloop!